Welcome to Global Business Adverts. Please kindly subscribe as we will always bring you the latest news, updates, and gist. The President and Senior Pastor, Omega Fire Ministries Worldwide, Apostle Johnson Suleman, has described reports that the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, ordered a probe into the allegations of an affair with Pastor Faith Ediko as bad press that sells fast. Pastor Mike Davids, a former associate of Pastor Suleman, had made a video that went viral, in which he accused the highly respected cleric of having an extramarital affair with his estranged wife, Pastor Faith Ediko, who heads the Abuja branch of Omega Fire Ministries in Utako. Pastor Davids also accused Suleman of threatening his life, stating that he could no longer sleep and that he was prevented from seeing his children. In view of these allegations, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, many media reported, ordered a probe of Suleman, who is also the CEO of Celebration TV Network Ltd and Hasana Oil and Gas. Solomon Azangashams conducted an interview with the pastor, and this is what was said. Now listen to the audio evidence.
Between your wife and Johnson Suleman. You mentioned your wife when you met her being a virgin, and you mentioned the hotel, where they should they normally go to pray, or no, where they normally go to pray. And anyway, that's the second one. When did you notice there was something wrong, and what was sort of like the discussions that you guys had around it?
Well, basically, I think from the time I introduced her to Apostle Johnson Suleman, who I had met, I think barely few months, before then, weakness is different from wickedness.
Yes.
Are you hearing what I'm saying? Apostle
Yes.
Suleman's situation is not a function of weakness; it's a function of wickedness. Because I'm not the first person he has done this to. There are so many victims out there who probably cannot speak up for reasons of fear, of his, position and influence and connections and all of that. But I have made up my mind that this is my story, this is my truth. Whatever it will take me, I will fight for my children, I will fight for my home. So basically, my wife, at some point, would mention to me of his invitations of her, to certain places, come and stay with me, can you come to Benin, so locations and all of that. Basically, I never really, I had this Catholic charismatic renewal background. Back
Yes.
in the days, they were more like the deeper life, very spiritual and straight to the point. So that was the kind of background I had. So it's even on Christianly for you to even imagine that for somebody you refer to or you esteem and dear as a spiritual leader to even, would want to contemplate having something to do with somebody who is a daughter, let alone, your son's daughter or fiancé, as it were. So I would basically just overlook it. I'll say, maybe Papa is lonely and all of that. He probably just needs company because of his frequent travels and all of that. Just feel free. But after some point, she began to mention to me, of his interest in her, and all of that. And I said, well, at this point, it appears that you may really have to be careful, about your closeness and all of that. But she was basically like, there's really nothing like that, that she have everything under control. From one point to the other, after some point, she was no longer opening up to me, for probably for fear that, okay, maybe I was beginning to process the whole thing and it was probably beginning to affect my mood and all of that. Until we eventually got married. All of this was even before we got married in 2008, December 6th. Then after we got married, because I started out pastoring in Warri, Delta State here in Nigeria, I was posted from there to Benin, branch 2, Urubi, specific. That was where I was pastoring. You had branch 1. Branch 1 was being headed by Pastor Temidayo then. That one has also left the ministry because of things like this and all of that. That one has left. So then eventually I was, after some time, I was posted from there to Osun State. Then it was in Osun State. I was posted to Osun State 2010. All right. So that was when, about the time Celebration TV, starting and all of that, Rema for Living, the plans were underway. basically, and all of that. So for reasons of, the fact that my wife was, a part-time staff with NTA rep, you can Google it. Is there on YouTube, the NTA rep. You have NTA Benin, and they extended the stations to some of these villages around and all of that, and they had their offices there. So that's where she was working as one of the broadcasters,
Yeah.
And so Suleman now felt that, okay, that should be instrumental to the development of Celebration TV and all of that. He asked her to resign, which she did, and all of that. So as of 2009, we had our first daughter, whose name is Michelle. God blessed us with that girl exactly November 24th, 2009. So then into 2010, when we're in Osun State now, we had just moved to Osun State, barely about 6 months thereabout, to 7 months, when she will have to travel back and forth to Auchi, even to Lagos, doing meetings with Apostle Suleman and team and all of that. I basically felt neutral about it, considering the fact that she had a baby and all of that. So when she came back on one of the days, that was when she told me that she really needed to talk to me, about something that had happened. So I was like, go ahead. And she said, this is what happened, that Apostle Suleman lodged. Everybody who are hearing me from around the world, or who probably have been to Auchi, Edo State, they know Uyi Grand. Uyi Grand is a popular hotel in Auchi, Edo State. As a matter of fact, that's one of the hotels that hosts, some of the guests that's come from Asad Auchin and all of that. So that was where he would basically lodge some of his guests, and what you have. So that was where she was lodged. So she told me 2 days later, because her conscience was really pricking her, that this is what happened. And that when she told me, I died as a man from that time. That Apostle Suleman came to her room, and had carnal knowledge of her, slept with her. So I was basically like, where was my daughter? That was the first question I asked. I said, where was Michelle? She said Michelle was on the bed, pushed aside. That's one thing I'm not very sure how much I can live with it. So I died as a man from that moment. My pain was, it's not something to even imagine, it's not something to consider. Irrespective of what she says on social media, irrespective of how they try to manipulate it, I know what I'm saying with all authority. This was what my wife told me, and from
No,
that time, things were basically never
actually,
the same.
we're gonna get to a place where we're gonna talk about your wife and what she has said in social media, and just so everybody would know, his wife doesn't grant interviews. Just so you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people are wondering, you should have called the wife to speak and all that. We tried to reach out to her, but the impression we got is she's not ready. She doesn't even want to. The video that she actually did, the 9 minutes video that she didn't post it herself. Some other person posted it and she shared it. Just so you know. And what do you do when she doesn't want to speak to the media? Then you obviously, and that's why I posted her video earlier on, just so people would know. If I was just trying to be one-sided, I wouldn't post her video. But you mentioned something, Mike, and for me, it's having a daughter and having a mother and having a man who is not our father on top of the mother on the same bed. How old was she? And how did that break you? Because we live in a society where there's a lot of abuse of girls and abuse of minors and everything. People can do some very despicable things. I don't care whether you're a bishop or an apostle, and that's what she told you herself, because she was trying to come clean, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously.
How did that break you? Your daughter was on the same bed, sleeping on one side, and then the mother your wife was on one side, and then there's a man who you regarded as a father, as a leader, on top of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said in starting, that's something that I will have to live with for a long time to come, because it left a dent on my soul. And that's one of my motivation for what I'm doing. It does not matter where Suleman takes me to. I will repeat what I have said 100 times.
Yeah.
Because I know what I was told, and I know the impact that had on me, even till this very moment that as we speak. You get what I'm saying? One thing I also need us to understand is that Apostle Suleman is not a man of God. He's not. The Apostle Suleman is not a man of God.
Yes.
You see, because I viewed that, that incident beyond just wanting to sleep with a woman. There must be some reasons or probably a cultic purpose attached to it. And some persons have spoken to me, in confidence to by that action, that child comes under a curse, probably, that only the father of that child can break that curse, or probably a genuine man of God. These are the two persons who may want to minister to that child. And that's why the first thing I'm going to demand, is to release my children, first of all, for a DNA test, because I need to be sure that these children are even my own in the first place.
Actually, what you're saying was quite true, because yesterday when I was doing the broadcast and playing some of your videos, someone in the US actually said, hey, how are you sure those kids are your kids?
Obviously.
If he has been sleeping with your wife for that long, how are you sure the kids are really your kids?
Of course.
You've loved them, you've cared for them, you provided for them as a father, you've done your best, but it's always good to know. And to be honest with you, they said in Nigeria, I saw it a couple of weeks ago, that Nigeria is actually the #1 country where actually women cheat, where the children, a lot of kids do not belong to who they think is their father.
Yeah.
It was a couple of weeks ago. If people Google it, you're going to see it somewhere. So I think it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
It's the right thing to demand. And you were saying you haven't seen your kids for how many years?
1 year. This is 1 year going to 2 years. 1 year, 6 months thereabout.
How old are they? So you don't know how they're doing in school. How old are they?
I don't know nothing, because Apostle Suleman threatened me that if he ever sees me close to my wife and my children, that he would take me out. During December, just this December that passed, I practically didn't stay in my house because of some threats that got to me. Some persons had to meet me in confidence and say, hey, you have to stay away from the house because this man has vowed that he will take you out. Because he actually threatened me in December 2018, in last Sunday of December 2018, that if I leave Omega Fire Ministries, he gives me 2 years, that my wife will leave me and that I will lose my life. This was the threat he made to me. So the first one has happened, which is my wife leaving me. And March this year, which will make it the second year that I left, because I left in March 2019. So that's why I have to reach out, because of the threats and all of that, for everybody to come to my aid. Because as I speak, I need help, because I'll be receiving attacks left, right, and center, and all of that, which probably I've spoken to. When we spoke last year, I also mentioned them to you.
Yes. We're going to get to that, because obviously there's going to be quite a lot of help there. What kind of relationship did you have with your wife from the early stages of your marriage to before she left the house, according to your story?
Well, I think my relationship, it was a very healthy relationship, even though, there were some challenges. Of course, there were not challenges that basically just disagreements and all of that and reconciliations, and it was basically not beyond that. But one thing I knew, even from, there were certain persons who were also trying to reach out to me to be very careful, and all of that, because it appears there is something, more than you understand that is going on between your wife and Suleman. See, Omega Fire Ministries, do your own research. Things like this are not new in Omega Fire Ministries. There are a lot of people who are victims. It's something that we are used to. But when it comes to people's wives, because we knew him, really into ladies, young ladies, even teenagers and all of that. But, pastors' wives, people's wives and all of that, these are things that is on the lips of a lot of people. It's just that people are afraid, they can't speak up and all of that. That's just the reason why, ordinarily, if you do your own research, or maybe you come to Auchi at those states, do your research, you'll be surprised that it's on the streets everywhere. It's not hidden. It's not something that's hidden.
So it's public knowledge around that area.
It's public knowledge. It's
that the man is an adulterer, the man is a fornicator, he sleeps with young girls, teenagers, married women, everybody.
Yes.
And I see quite a lot of people from Auchi here. They're coming here and commenting. You could see they were sent on some fake accounts. I'm blocking some of you guys, so just so you know, you would disappear very soon. That's why I'm using my phone here, blocking some of them, because they were sent to defend him. Now, Mike, how is your wife? What kind of a woman is she? because I don't want people to get the impression that she's this evil woman, you know. Even if she had made mistake or whatever, what kind of a woman? You married her for a reason. You saw something there. That's why you fell in love with her, isn't it?
Yeah. Truth be told, the woman I married is not the woman that is talking out there.
Right.
My wife is a very, wonderful woman, very amazing woman, very intelligent woman, very caring woman. All right. So that is why I am amazed at the change that I'm even seeing myself with the way she's defending another woman's husband on Facebook against her own husband. It's something that, I can't really, I find it very difficult to process. She's a very wonderful woman. She's somebody who stands for truth. And that's why I am of the considered opinion that Suleman has used something on that woman. She has been hypnotized. Something has been used on her. That is not the woman. The woman talking out there is not the woman I got married to.
Thank you for watching. If you will like more latest news, updates, and trending gist, don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so that you get notifications anytime we post new videos. Also remember to like, share and leave a comment on this issue. Thank you.